Hello and welcome to Fresh Face One Shots. My name is Joey,
And I'm Jacob.
and today we are back with Batman the Brave and the Bold. We are finishing one of our main story today, Pygmalion, which I'm very excited about, and also continuing our stories that started last time with Wild Dog, Here Comes Trouble, and Aquaman Communion, as well as having, of course, our regular Batman Black and White story. I guess shall we get right into it?
Yes. And I think this time, okay, this is the first time I'm a little disappointed, I think, genuinely, with how a story ends.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'd call myself disappointed. I would just say that maybe I was misreading early parts of the story, and I thought it was going in a very different direction than it actually was in the end. Because for the most part, I liked it, and I liked the finale, just not as a finale to Pygmalion as a whole, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it kind of veers off into, like, a left field.
Yeah,
A little bit.
So for if you guys haven't been following the story up to this point, basically there was a guy that we thought for some time was a Bruce Wayne that had lost his memories. He was suffering from amnesia for some reason, and so he was sort of relearning to be Batman. But it turned out, in fact, this was not Bruce Wayne. This is, in fact, a different guy, and now he has come across the real Batman, and now people are in danger, and the two Batmen, the real and the fake, have to team up to try to stop them. And I don't mind that, but also the fake Batman kind of gets taken out of the story like really early on.
Yeah,
it's weird.
It becomes. I think my problem with it is it becomes a normal Batman story.
Yeah, which I mean, like, I normally wouldn't mind, especially considering the villain in the whole thing is the ventriloquist, and I love the ventriloquist, as you well know. But it's weird. Like, I feel like I was almost misled. I don't want to say it. Like, I don't know. It's just it feels weird. It feels really, really weird.
It felt like Ian March in the first two parts of the story, by evoking the title Pygmalion and doing the plot the way he did, he was doing some sort of a deconstruction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we were going to deconstruct the character of Batman. We were going to look into maybe the idea of anyone could be Batman, which is, not an unfamiliar idea. It's certainly been explored before. We were going to maybe explore what happens when someone impersonates Batman, or something like that.
Yeah. But instead, it's just kind of turns into a beat 'em up. Just let's knock out the bad guys, and then it's kind of over. It feels weird. It feels really weird.
Here's the interesting thing. The more I think about it, because you're evoking the title Pygmalion, which is if you've seen the Shaw play or seen My Fair Lady, or one of the many pieces of fiction that's inspired by this story, or even know the original Greek myth. Using a villain like the ventriloquist in Scarface actually could be really interesting. Part of me wonders if, obviously, no evidence for this happening. I wonder if this was cut short at all?
Either that, or just submitted to like some really weird DC editorial decisions. It's possible.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what ended up happening here. Because again, I didn't find anything especially wrong with part 3 itself, but it certainly didn't feel like the ending to the story that was set up in the first 2 parts.
Yeah, it just kind of swerves without really swerving. It's just, well, here's some action, and I will say, the action is gorgeous. Ian March is a really good artist.
Yeah.
But I wanted something more. Especially, also, like, Catwoman has a part to play in this story, kind of.
Yeah, because she had appeared in part 2 of the story. And there's this implication
briefly in part 1 as well. Like, she's...
Oh yeah, very briefly. but there's this implication by the end that like she always knew that the other Batman was not really Batman, because when she kissed him, she knew exactly how it should feel, and it's, you know, you can't fake that is the idea. And like, okay, sure, but like, I don't know, this part of the story just completely wrote the other Batman out of the plot like very early on, which I found really bizarre. Right down to like having I can't remember the mom's name, Aurora's mom, like having her like kiss Batman, and she's like, I knew you'd come, Bryce, and she's like, wait, who are you? He's like, I'm Batman. It's a funny moment, sure, but like, I don't know, maybe there should have been some actual like payoff for these supporting characters in this story. It felt a little weird. It's that's all I keep saying. I realize it just feels weird.
Yeah, and I honestly probably the weakest story of this release.
Yeah, very possible.
Like,
see, I was not a huge fan of the black and white story personally.
I don't know what to think of the black and white story.
Yeah, that'll be something to get into soon. That I'm not quite sure on, but yeah, I don't know. It's definitely one of the weaker segments of a story that Brave and the Bold has offered so far. That said, I did love the whole the bit about the activation word for the bombs that ventriloquist set up being bombs without saying the letter B, because Scarface can't say the letter B because he's a fucking puppet. It's funny. I love that. I think that's great.
Honestly, the more I think about it, this also feels like a story that maybe in the end, maybe putting it here in this book is the wrong thing. Maybe it should be in like the main Batman book.
Very possibly. Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. It's
It's just
I am conflicted.
Yeah. Anyway, shall we move on to onto our second story for today?
The madness that is Wild Dog.
Wild Dog, Here Comes Trouble, Part 2. By Kyle Starks, who's writing some genuine insanity. The ridiculousn's of this story keeps getting amped up, and I kind of love it.
Yes.
It's really fun. First off, I love we follow up on the big cliffhanger last time. Wild Dog's going after a guy named Alan, who I kind of just, I don't know, I fell in love with, because he's clearly this play on toxic men online that I don't know, I just kind of loved seeing one of those people in real life. It was really funny. I don't know, there was some great dialogue here in Wild Dog, like confronting him, and some great action here too. That is I forget who the artist is in this story. It's Fernando Passarin, that's it. Some great action there in that sequence as well, and just seeing the whole thing in a diner, it looks nice, it looks lovely. It's fun. I was trying to avoid saying it on the recording, but you're holding a cat right now. I can see.
A cat now. I do apologize, viewers. There is a cat now.
We have to respect the cat. It's all good.
We have to respect the cat. Anyway, it's also I love. Oh, down she goes. I love the humor of this. I was a little worried in first installment. But I feel like this is just having so much fun with the insanity, because we're going up against a college corporation, and Wild Dog as a character is just such a shit superhero.
Yeah, totally. I love the whole sequence there. Then, like after the Alan fight, when he goes to like the actual like college, and he meets with the board, and it's just, I don't know, I really loved that. They're like standing above the football stadium the whole time. It's just really, really funny. And then of course you go to, what's up?
Well, and he's got like a guy on the inside who like tries to keep him calm and work with him, and it's just so funny. But then we have, the actual, I don't want to say the actual conflict, but like, I guess our big bad
Yeah, although
Eventually
even
revealed.
that is very ridiculous. They're meeting in a Cord Mart, a soon-to-be-open Cord Mart, and this coalition of just 5 really ridiculous-seeming villains. I love their names. You have Gwyneth Marchetti, underboss of the Kentuckiana Marchetti crime family. Lucas Irontown, boss of the Hub City Dragons. Hecate, Elder Queen of the Death Angels, and Longbeard, King of the Great Lakes River Pirates. Like,
So here's the thing. This clearly takes place in Ohio. Like, this has Ohio derogatory written all over it.
yeah, it's lovely.
We may or may not have at least one viewer in Ohio. Probably not knowing Brian, but
probably not. He won't listen. It's all good. but yeah, I don't know. I loved this. I love this whole sequence. Wild Dog sort of like staking them out as more of those the sort of like white armored rocket guys coming from last time. They are being funded and run by the one and only Gizmo of Teen Titans fame, who I believe you know, right?
yes. I mean, he's appeared in New Teen Titans, I think, briefly.
Oh, that's true. Yes, we did have a small Gizmo appearance.
And I did watch.
Small Gizmo. Sorry, go on.
I have seen Gizmo in the Teen Titans animated series from the early 2000s.
Of course. He's a legend. And in the scene where he's revealed, Wild Dog literally makes a reference to Ventriloquist, which I don't think was planned, appearing in the same issue as Chameleon Part 3. But man, that would be funny. Yeah, that's great though. And that's sort of where we end our issue. Wild Dog gets beaten by Gizmo, and it is to be concluded next time, along with pretty much all the stories. Hopefully, it finally works out that all of our stories end next time.
Please.
We are hoping against hope that the winning card finally gets its finale next time, with any luck.
Any luck.
We are
in
with
Aquaman story.
Yeah, Aquaman Communion Part 2. Just great fun, very quick, fast-paced. Continuing from where we left off, Aquaman going through this base with the Dominators are on. They have Aquaman has teamed up with a resident, or I guess former resident, of Gorilla City.
It's not Gorilla Grodd.
It's not Grodd. It is a guy named... I forget his name.
They name him like once.
Konar. That's it.
Yes.
Konar is his name. He gives us some backstory on what happened with the Dominators in Gorilla City and how they have how the Dominators pretty much took over Gorilla City and made this base then. As they are trying to get their way through here, Grodd, not Grodd, oh my god, Konar, wow, every monkey is Grodd to me. Konar and Aquaman are spotted by I forget this guy's name, that the one gorilla that sort of sold the city over to the Dominators. He spots them, and in the attack, Aquaman makes his way to a teleporter, and he is brought to Gorilla City, and that is where part 2 ends off. It's been a really fun story. I do kind of wish it wasn't the one that was stuck in like the 10-page slot, because I kind of wish there was just more going on. Not because it's not like it's not using its time wisely, like it still is. But part of me does kind of wish...
It understands how to use the constraint. However, Aquaman currently doesn't have a run at DC, and we all want an Aquaman run.
Yeah, I think it's not like it's not being done right. It's just I want more. I genuinely just want more story. That's all.
It's not like there's a movie out.
There is a movie
Aquaman
out, which actually, as of recording, I just saw today, and
I noticed
it was actually pretty good. I had a good time with it. Anyway, so the black and white story today.
So it's from kind of a legendary figure. It's from John Higgins, aka the guy that colored Watchmen in The Killing Joke.
Yeah. He's a legend. Oddly enough, doing a not colored story. So there's that. But yeah, I wasn't, as we mentioned earlier, I wasn't quite sure what to make of this one.
Okay. Higgins is obviously no stranger to social commentary. He worked on Watchmen and The Killing Joke, after all. But this one kind of feels a little ableist in places. Just a little bit, with the whole, these kids have a disability and are using experimental treatments, and those experimental treatments are being used by the scientist in charge for evil, and it's killing them. And I don't think it's very clear in what it wants to say about that.
Yeah, and part of that, oddly enough, unlike the Aquaman story, it may be just because it's not, the 8 pages here aren't being used quite as wisely as they could be.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure like Higgins can tell a concise story. It's just maybe not this concise. It doesn't quite have the space to do the nuance that maybe Higgins might be going for.
I mean, oddly enough, I think this might be the most dialogue heavy of any of the Black and White stories.
Yeah, which probably makes it make sense that it's probably one of my least favorite Black and White stories we've had so far, because for the most part, it's the more minimalist approach to the Black and White stories that make them work.
Yeah. The minimalist. Let's do something different and interesting with it.
Mm-hmm. And maybe it's just I think it really is just trying to do too much for an 8-page
in such a short period of time. Yeah, I don't know.
But I mean,
I will say I don't think I dislike it. I don't know. Maybe I dislike it. I don't know. My feelings on it are a little mixed.
That's understandable. Yeah.
Heck, this entire issue was kind of mixed for me.
I mean, the middle was fucking rock solid. Rock solid.
The middle was great, and I would recommend anyone following. Like, if you haven't, what's nice, I'd love to say you can start following next issue, but I can't say that because of a certain Mr. King.
He'll be back.
I'm King.
And in greater numbers.
Yeah.
It's all good. We'll get there. Don't worry. And plus, we have plenty of other Tom King to fill in the meantime. Speaking of, check out other Fresh Face one shots that we've been doing.
Yes.
We've been covering Wonder Woman by Tom King and Superman by Joshua Williamson. That's been lovely.
Both of those we released videos on last week. This one's coming a little late.
Oh yeah, we never even mentioned. Yeah, this is late because it came out on the 26th of December, and it's just neither of us really had time to record things then. So
and the little time we did have was dominated by something else you'll be seeing on the channel soon.
But yeah, very soon. Yeah. But yeah, that'll be fun. That other thing is coming out soon. And then along with other things happening on the channel. It's been a busy time for the holidays for me. So it's
just a lot of stuff because we've got, regular podcast.
Star Trek every week.
R2BD released its second episode
recently. Yeah, that's been fun. Just lots of things going on. So any and all support on the channel means a ton, guys. And I think that's a good place to end it. So
yes.
All right. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll leave our socials and everything linked in the description below. You can check out our link trees there. But until next time, this has been Joey Morgan
and Jacob Licklider.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.